Welcome to Stay on Track podcast with Poolson Oden Law Firm. I'm Danny Poolson, along with my amazing co-host, Oden. Today we are airing episode 5 of Stay on Track podcast. And we have a new team member in the studio with us this morning.
We do.
Annie Smith.
Hi.
Annie, you were making a face when I apparently pronounced your name not as gracefully as I should have.
You can't prove that.
Oh, that was a good
Welcome, Annie.
Welcome,
Smith.
Annie.
Annie, will you tell us a little bit about yourself, including the correct pronunciation of your name?
Okay. My name is Anielis Sierra Smith. I have been married for 11 months today. So now,
Hey.
now
Congratulations!
Smith. No,
Can you hit us with the clapper?
Nice.
Hey, yeah, you can't say my name or my husband's name, so it's okay.
Can you tell us your husband's name too? It's Skylar, right?
It's
It
Kyler.
was just, it was a poor joke. Annie didn't laugh.
Can you press the claps again? Partner, they think it was a great joke.
Oh,
Our
well,
audience.
Thanks.
I heard them clapping.
Yay.
Annie, one little tidbit about Annie on the clapping. She's not a fan of that sound because of the abrupt stop. Is that fair?
Very fair, yes.
She wants it to fade out, right?
Okay. All right. Well, Annie, can you work on getting it to fade out so it's not an irritant to you? Because I think the clapping is amazing.
Yeah, I can work on that. I'll keep the editing just how it is so everybody can hear the stop. We can put it to a vote.
Are the other noises like that too? They just end? Can we get
I can press,
another
like,
fun?
every-
Yeah, like laugh or something? Is there
See, that one fades.
a...
Okay. No abrupt stopping of the sounds.
No.
Okay.
I'll work on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Thing on
right.
the list.
Yeah, you're right. All right, partner. Episode 5.
I'm excited.
You excited?
Are you
What-
excited?
I'm
Do
always.
you know who we're talking with today?
I'm always Annie.
Well, no, not just Annie. My partner is in the hot seat today, and I'm super excited because we get to learn all about Danny, our fearless leader at this firm, my thoughtful, brilliant partner. We get to discuss you today.
Yay.
All right. So, okay. So tell our listeners about you, like your family. Do you have siblings? You've got 4 sisters, right?
I do. I have 3 sisters.
3. See,
That's
See that?
that's good. That's good. No, I promise. Carissa knows all kind of stuff about me.
I know. I was counting you as a sibling in my head, and then I said
That's
4
right.
instead of 3.
No,
So,
that's
yeah.
fair. No.
So tell me about your sisters.
Yeah, I'm one
and
of
your family.
I'm one of 4. I'm the oldest of 4 with 3 younger sisters. Rachel is 5 years younger than me. Erin is 7 years younger than me, and Ashley is 9 years younger than me. And jumping all around here, when I think of my 3 sisters, they're now professionals, each in their own right, and very cool to watch them grow into these professionals that are devoted wives and devoted mothers. And so growing up, I was the oldest of 4 with 3 younger sisters, and now I am proudly the brother of, Rachel, or the older brother of Erin, or the older brother of Ashley. So, yeah, one of 4. Couldn't be more proud of those 3 ladies.
And now, when you were younger and you had 3 sisters, I know, Abigail, she's got 2 brothers, right? So she always goes, the brothers. Were you like, oh, the sisters? Or
Yeah, I kind of had a little office Danny as a youngster growing up with my sisters, keeping the house clean when our parents weren't home. Both our parents worked a lot, taught us about education, and so as I got older, I babysat a lot, and so I think my sisters will probably remember it as a kind of a stringent household with making sure the house was clean and just making sure everything was in order when our parents actually got home. So I was probably probably tough on them, but I'll tell you, for them, when I was so excited every time we had another child in the family, I was so excited, and I always couldn't wait for them to get older to like hang out
to play with.
Yes, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I always liked. Yeah, I mean, it sounds funny growing up, you know, as a kid playing with your sisters or whatever, but it was a good. We were a good group, and I really just was excited about them getting older, so that we could share life experiences together. Because 5, 7, and 9 years is quite a bit of a difference growing up. So it was kind of. I felt like I was always kind of one step removed from them, and now that they're adults, it's been amazing.
And tell us, so home is here in Metairie or Jefferson?
That's right. So That's fun. My wife and I were born in the same hospital 6 days apart in Metairie, Louisiana, Lakeside Hospital.
Nice.
Right? What are the chances? She was leaving when I was coming in. And yeah, so born and raised Jefferson Parish, Metairie, Louisiana. And that's where our office is headquartered. So it's been a very, very cool journey from there to here.
And mom and dad both from Metairie and in Jefferson? Or tell us a little bit about your mom and your dad and how they met.
Yeah, so my dad probably has a sweet spot in your heart. He's from Denver. Yeah, big shout out to my pops. As many folks know, he's not with us, but talk about him and think about him daily. Anyway, so from Denver, and he came from a broken home. And so his pops, for whatever reason, at about 9 months old, just left. And then my dad was adopted by his stepfather, my pawpaw, which was my dad's adopted father. And around age 12, my dad was born Jonathan Daniel Buck. And at age 12, when he was adopted, he changed, because they called him Danny. And when he was adopted, he changed his name to Daniel Jonathan Poolson, which, it's an interesting fun fact that I don't know that many folks know. So I'm a junior. So there were a bunch of, when my dad grew up in the Colorado area, there were everybody was John. It was like the Italian version for Colorado people, where John, Jonathan, whatnot. So instead of calling him John or Johnny, they called him Danny. So when it was time for the adoption, he said, let's put Daniel in front, since I'm Danny anyway. So
he picked that
he
at
did,
12?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Because he went by Danny. So, and yeah, then when I was born, I was little Danny, which I know friends and foes alike go ahead and take that and enjoy calling me little Danny. I get it. And then my mom's from here, her family. So her dad is Rosario Karimi from Sicily, southern Italy, and her mom is Sabina Spioni from Torino, Italy, northern Italy.
So full Italian.
Full Italian. And so their relationship, everybody's got a story, right? So their relationship was kind of like the forbidden marriage. My Rosario was in the military, and that's how he met my grandmother. And Sabina's parents didn't want her to marry this southern Italian dude.
Okay.
Didn't want to do it. Anywho, so he kind of swept her off her feet. And then they moved back to the States after the war, and that's kind of a funny deal. But Rosario, plug for Rosario, he's actually in the World War II museum. They're Rosario and Sabina, God rest their souls, they're not with us either. They did a interview with him about his time in the military, and there's quite a few veterans whose stories you can hear if you go to the World War II museum right here in New Orleans and you get the dog tags. You can plug it in and you can hear the story. He's one of them.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, and so we got to. It was a celebration when I don't want to say inducted, but when they put it in, and the way it worked. Well, that was interesting too, because when we went there, I think about it, it gives me goosebumps because I'm very proud of that. And when we went there, they remove everybody from the interview because they don't want the veteran to be self-conscious about what he's saying, about what he saw and what he experienced, because they want it to be real life experience for the visitors to the World War II Museum. Okay,
so your mom and dad, how did they end up meeting?
Yeah, total. My first thought is total disaster, right? I'm sure my mom, who wants to be a guest, is going to love hearing that. No, so my mom's the youngest of three. And she's got two older Italian sisters, and her oldest sister is my nanny, which in Italian verbiage is godmother, right? So Nanny's much older than my mom. So my mom's the very youngest of three. And she met my dad at a very young age. My dad was a year ahead of her. And my dad kind of had a tumultuous upbringing. Not a lot of structure. Didn't promote education. Really just kind of get a D, get out of school, and go get a job, right? And so he wasn't necessarily the best student or best influence at the time, right? So of course, I'm sure my mom would agree. She had an attraction to my dad. Anyway, so they met at a very young age, and they ended up getting married very young, 19 and 20. They got married about 13 months before I was born. And I joke with my mom now a lot. When my dad was here, I joked with him too about, did they backdate the wedding? Because I was coming, and so I found some paraphernalia from the wedding, and saw some matchbooks that had the date on it, July of 1980. So I thought, okay, all right, I don't think they made that up. So yeah. So I gave them grief. But anywho, they were 19, 20, and then they had me shortly after they got married, and it was, my mom will say that it was kids raising kids, So yeah.
And what did they both do for work? Your mom's a nurse, right?
In all seriousness, very driven. And she knew from a young age she wanted to be a nurse. So right out of school, the programs were different. You didn't have to have the bachelor's route. You could go straight to nursing school. So Cabrini High School, charity nursing program. She was in and out pretty quick. My dad, he worked all over. He was a laborer, actually worked in the oil field, did a lot of welding, traveled, driving trucks, things like that. And one night, my parents' good friends, Randy and Alina, and Randy was actually there when my dad passed. He was one of the guys that was there. I'll never forget that. And they were, guys were drinking a little bit, acting up. And my dad made a comment about, oh, we could do what these girls do with this nursing and this medicine stuff. We could.
Your mom was not around, huh? I don't know for that comment.
It might have been Randy. It might have been Randy that said it. Anyway, one of them said it, and it got the ladies fired up. You can't do it. So the gauntlet was laid. There might have been a wager, might have been a little bet there, whatever. So anywho, my dad later in life enrolled in school, and at that point, my dad hadn't focused on education at all. So my mom thought he probably couldn't read and write. Anyway, my dad was actually a bright guy, and he ended up going to school. He and Randy, they both finished, both became RNs, and then later on in life, my dad went back to school again to become a CRNA, which was a pretty gnarly program. That was when I was in high school, and so.
So wait, both your dad and Randy became.
Yeah, they did. They did.
They did it. They did what they said they were going to do. They went and did that.
Can you believe it? Yeah. Two dudes drinking cold pops went and became RNs. So very funny story. Yeah.
And so after your dad, you said later on in life, he became a nurse anesthetist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did he love that? Was that?
He did. He loved practicing medicine. And, yeah, he did. And unfortunately, he was sick a lot after he finished school. And so where he worked, they really did a good job letting him stay while he was getting treatment. But he couldn't actually practice towards the end because he was medicated, which is really sad. But yeah, he loved it. Once he got into it, it was like he was hungry for more knowledge and more education. It was like he had been held back his whole life, and then once he was like, oh wait, there's all this stuff out here to learn, and he soaked it up, and he was a really, really sharp guy. So loved his patients. At his funeral, we heard stories about things that he would do. Like one of his coworkers was having trouble with breastfeeding, so he went to the store and picked up, whatever Similac or whatever, and then brought it to their house. And he was just that kind of guy that would go over and above and beyond, and he wouldn't do it in a way where everybody saw him doing it. Mm-hmm. He would just do the things which sort of help with whoever it was, and his bedside manner was second to none. I definitely try and be more like my pops when it comes to his patience and how calm he is in situations. And so he was built to do what he did.
And I think you said or maybe you hadn't said it yet, this is just something I know, like other members of your family, like your sisters, they also are in the medical field. So can you tell our listeners about your route with medicine and then kind of moving into law?
College, I was pre-med. I'm actually not a fan of surgery or blood. or guts or anything like that. So I knew that I couldn't be a doctor, right? That's not for me. But the reading and writing, I kind of took to it and thought, I want to serve and I want to help other people. And so it's just crazy, the journey from that to now. We focus so much on the medicine, and with my dad's story, and my whole family is in medicine. I'm fascinated by the medicine. I just don't know that I'm the right person to go in and actually perform the surgery, because it gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Gotcha. So when you started pre-med, was it more that your family was in medicine and so you thought that was maybe the route you wanted to go?
Yeah. Shout out to my mom. Sorry about this, but she was incredibly disappointed when I told her I didn't want to be a doctor, right? And that's the real deal. And she wanted me to be a physician, and that was the only thing that I could do. And those were tough times and tough conversations we had where it just wasn't for me. During the course of schooling, I took some English classes and I really enjoyed it. And then I kept digging into kind of pre-law classes in college, and I really just sort of leaned on that, and it kind of just sort of happened. I ended up applying to law school, went to law school, and just have been really, at that point, opened my eyes to what it is we now do, being lawyers.
Did you love law school?
No. No.
I wonder if there's any lawyers listening that are either laughing or thinking that, they loved it.
Yeah, no. Where I spent a lot of time in law school in trial ad, moot court a little bit, but more so trial ad. I was fascinated. I interned for Judge Wicker in 24th. That for our listener, that means work for free. I loved that. I loved being in her court. I loved seeing that. And that's really when my eyes opened up. NITA, I volunteered for NITA, which is National Institute Trial Academy. I was a videographer. Love that. Spent a lot of time soaking up trial work, where at the time at the law school I was at, they had a sub focus on trial work, but it was an extracurricular that you really didn't get credit for. But that's where I spent my time. I mean, I'd find myself in the trial room till 11, 12 at night, being part of the trial ad program. I participated as a participant. I coached. I was the president my last year, which was a Katrina year, and just really was fascinated by trial work and everything litigation. And so, again, not the best student in the classroom, but I got a ton of training and learning, which to me was more like a residency to doctors, which to me was much more profound. Going to the courthouse, I did a law clerk with an excellent attorney, Tim Richardson. The firm was Alan Ussery, God rest Alan's soul. I learned all about procedure and motions for summary judgment and the federal rules, and that's when I really got excited about law. But sorry, law school itself, no,
terrible.
Not so much. No.
And so you were at law school at LSU?
It was good to get out of the house in Metairie and go to Baton Rouge and be a Tiger. So ended up meeting Amy our second year, and we don't have enough time for how lucky and fortunate I am to have met her, and all the people who see us always are correctly so when they say, Danny, you married up. Yeah.
Now, I think that you should tell them how y'all met, right? Like, she saw you dancing. She thought that was pretty cool.
No, we're not talking about it. Talking about any of that
story.
No, our team doesn't know any of that. My kids don't know any of that.
That she thought you were a good dancer?
Yeah,
I'm going to dance with that guy.
Yeah, I can't deny that. I can't. If that's a story on the street, I don't have anything to deny that. No. So Amy grew up Tumblr, athletic, ran track, cheerleader, dancer, the whole deal. And I do think that, it just sounds so terrible, right? I think there was an attraction there for her because she knew whoever my mate's going to be, I want to be able to dance with this guy, forever, right? And so that's, as cheesy as that sounds, I think that was part of it. And so God blessed me with Amy. I definitely, a wife I don't deserve, 2 kids I don't deserve, a law partner I don't deserve, a team I don't deserve. And so very, very appreciative every single day for Amy and just kind of sticking with me. She was around, my dad was sick, and we weren't married yet. And you really, the good times and the bad times, you learn a lot about people. And that was at a young age, at a very, very terrible time in my life. She was there, and I could never thank her enough. So Amy D. College sweetheart. We were fraternity sorority. It dropped her. Gave her my letters. They put me. That was funny. So they kind of stripped me down, and I was in like Umbros, right? It might be 50 degrees outside.
I love that you said Umbros.
It's cold.
I don't
right?
know that some people out there know what that is.
Umbros. It's like the Lululemon version of sharts. I don't know. What are Umbros?
I thought that was funny. I know what that is, but
Yeah.
you always say I'm old.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
we're both
Umbros.
we're both old. We're both old. I'm just not quite as old as CJ.
All right.
But it was one of the best nights of my life. And so I gave my letters to Amy. They did a ceremony at her house where they passed around the candle, and it was pretty cool. So they have a fountain in the middle. And it stopped at her. She didn't think it was her. So, me and all the guys come in, and it's kind of like a pseudo proposal, but you're in college and you give her your letters, right? So everybody cheers. It's awesome. So then the guys bum rush me, bring me back to the house. I'm in the Umbros, whatever. And they basically, they tied me with, what's the duct tape, right? So they duct tape me. Well, they pack me with ice and cayenne pepper, and then they duct tape me, right? So now I'm totally bound. I can't move. I'm shivering. It's like, it's like buds, right? So I'm shivering. They throw me in the back of a truck. There may or may not have been alcohol involved. And so they drove me around campus just kind of showing me off like a trophy, right? It was
because
free
you gave your letters?
Because I gave my letters to her, yeah. Because what that says
What does
is
that mean, by the way?
she is above my brothers now.
Oh.
Yeah, it was.
That's like a big deal.
It is. It was. It is. It's a big deal. It was. She was the love of my life. So, so they did that, and then the last stop was at the sorority house in the fountain where the event took place, and they put me in the fountain.
Oh, no.
And then they left me.
Okay.
They left me. So I'm just sitting. There's nothing. There's no I have nothing on me. I have nothing on me except ice and cayenne pepper, and I'm strapped totally.
What's the purpose of the cayenne pepper? Like, what is that?
It's uncomfortable.
It's just like.
Well, you're being you put your girl in front of your boys. Oh no. Oh no.
Man.
Yeah.
So how'd you get out? Tell me Amy ran out there and like cut you loose like she's running. I can imagine like to you in the fountain.
Somebody at the house was like, what is that? And they doused me with flour. So I was all white. Like I was covered in flour. So the next day, Amy, one of her sorority sisters, we clogged the fountain.
Oh no.
Yeah, we broke the fountain. Well, I didn't. I was the asset that broke the fountain. Yeah, we broke the fountain. So yeah, the girls came out and they got me, and they unscissored me and got me free, and then they brought me somewhere to get me warm and clothed.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a good story.
It's a good.
Now was Amy there helping?
Yeah.
Fix
yeah,
you?
Yeah, she was there. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it doesn't happen often. I don't think back then. It didn't. It wasn't something that was routine to drop, a girl or give a girl your letters. That wasn't a routine thing. So I don't know. I hadn't seen it happen very often. So I think it was fun. I think it was an exciting night. And then all the girls there got, they went home, got dressed, and then all the guys that had tormented me, they went home, got dressed, and then we all went out that night and celebrated.
Oh,
And so, yeah, we went dancing all night, and it was a good time. Really, really good memory. Love those guys, love those girls, 100%. It was awesome.
So at that point in your life, were you like, "This is the girl I'm going to marry"?
Mm-hmm. No doubt. Yeah, I knew. It was for me not to mess up.
Nice.
Yeah.
So fast forward, how long before you pop that question?
That's a funny story, and kind of a sad story. So my dad, as a lot of people know, my dad was sick when I was in college. My last year, he was diagnosed, had quite a few procedures. It was a lot going back and forth. Anywho, my mom, being the quintessential Italian that she is, had a bug in my ear about my dad being around when Amy and I got married. And as much as I wanted that to happen, I wasn't going to affect a very special relationship because of another very special relationship, if that makes sense, So I would have loved my dad to be at our wedding and see all that. But at the end of the day, Amy and I's story is Amy and I's story, and my dad's my dad, whatever. So we were at my parents' house. My dad had passed, and I had been working on getting her ring made and going to jewelers, all that kind of stuff. And he was very, very casual. And I didn't want it to be a big to-do. I wanted it to be just me and her and, of course, my mom. Enter Marie Barone, right?
Oh.
I know, right? No, Mom, I love you. But my mom, and look, my mom's been an amazing widow, right? She's been through a lot. I love my mom to death, respect her a ton. And this was something she wanted to be a part of, and who am I to say no, right? So, anywho, my dad was very good with his hands. And so we had, in the backyard, poured concrete, put concrete together, had a little pad, built a barn, used a 4-wheel all the time, all kind of outdoor stuff. And so there was a pad where we had placed it in front of the barn, and I don't know why I thought this was a good idea. But New Year's Eve, my parents' house, just us 3, and Amy falls asleep.
Oh, no.
Right, yeah. And again, on the heels of my dad passing, I mean, it was tumultuous, watching him pass and all that. It was tumultuous. And so we're there hanging out. Amy ends up falling asleep. I'm looking at my mom thinking, I gotta wake her up.
Right. So how am I going to do this?
Yeah, Mom, put the coffee on. Yeah. So my mom makes a pot of coffee. And then so closer to midnight, I wake Amy up and say, look, I really want to watch the fireworks with you or whatever. So she and I go outside. We're on the big concrete pad that my dad and I had put together and moved with the 4-wheel or whatever. It was very nostalgic for me in front of the barn we built. And I proposed right then. And the fireworks are going. It was midnight. Amy's half awake. Cup of coffee.
Got a cup of coffee.
my mom's in the kitchen, and she's looking out the window like watching.
She's like waiting.
Yeah. So and look, this was a long time ago, so there's no like recording or anything. But she got to see that moment, and then when we came inside, my mom was crying, Amy was crying. The ring was a little too big, so we had to get it. Of course, right? We had to get it fitted, whatever. So that was a cool deal. But yeah, sorry, I don't remember the year. I know it was December 31st. I don't know what year it was, and we ended up getting married in 2007. I guess it might have been 2005.
Okay.
2005.
And then married in 2007. And then you get pregnant and have babies when?
Too soon. Far too soon. No, I'm kidding. We went about 9 years. And being one of 4, very selfishly, this is something that I'm sure nobody really knows. And Annie, you're learning a lot today. I wasn't ready to go have kids right away, right? Having 3 younger sisters, with my dad, the whole deal, I was kind of selfish. I wanted to just spend time with Amy and have our time, and I feel like I'm still kind of like that a little bit, So very protective of our time, and I've still wrestled with time on Earth, right? Just with my dad, losing him he was age 45. That's kind of one of my big demons that I wrestle with is time, and so I wanted to have the most time I could with Amy, and then being a young lawyer, working 100 hours a week, total grind zone. Good folks that I practice with, really, really good folks, but grind zone. I was very protective of our time, right? And then as time goes on, it's the natural progression, time to have kids. And I joke with my sisters and pretty much everybody now that God blessed us with twins, right? I've heard 1 is like none, 2 is like 20. We jumped right into the deep end of the pool. But again, just like Amy, couldn't be more blessed and lucky to have Davis and Amelia. So Davis came out 1 minute earlier than his twin sister, Amelia. And we joke, Davis is dark complected, dark eyes, dark hair. He's our Southern Italian boy.
Yeah.
And Amelia is fair skin, light eyes, beautiful strawberry blonde hair. She is our Northern Italian girl. So
best of both worlds.
But yeah, God has provided grace to me than I could ever repay or earn or deserve.
And they're 7?
That's right.
Now?
7, yeah. 7-year-old twins, first grade, and they are pretty cool. Pretty cool. Got their own little personalities. It's been like a petri dish with these two, right? Because they have the same parents, raised the same, 2 different individuals, 2 different ways they learn, 2 different ways they joke, this, that, and the other. But it's been truly an amazing blessing, and couldn't be more proud and happy to be in their lives.
And talking a little bit more about Amy D, she graces us and blesses us with being here at the firm working.
100%. And Annie and all of our team out there, Amy D is where you're shooting to be. Amy D she's a rock star for us. And a little bit about Amy. So she's an only child. And I think when you think only child, you kind of have these misconceptions, I think. And with Amy, I think you would agree as a friend. I mean, she is someone who will show up, and she's a good person. And so her parents, Dr. Brad Davis and Kim Briley in Opelousas, I mean, they just did an amazing job with her, and we're in their ear a lot. Now we give them grief about, don't give too much sugar to the kids and stuff like that. But we're in their ear a lot about, what did y'all do to rear Amy, and what can we do to be better parents for Davis and Amelia? And I can't say enough about her parents and Doc. That's kind of a funny story too. So my courtship of Amy was about 5 years, and Doc made me earn every minute of it. And he's a guy that I hold in the highest regard, and I respect him so much. He played in the 70s, early 70s, tough as nails, LSU football. When he left, he was the leading rusher for LSU. Got drafted, ended up getting hurt in the league, and he had a decision: keep wrestling with the league or go to dental school. Maybe one of the brightest guys I know. Goes to dental school, has been having a practice in Opelousas for a gazillion years. And that guy made me earn it, and I appreciate and respect him for doing that. That was his only daughter, and I think whoever wants to date my daughter, I'm gonna pay that forward, right?
It's gonna be the same way, huh?
Pay it forward, and then whoever wants to date our son, I think Mama Bear is gonna pay that forward too. How do you feel about?
Yeah, well, my Michael, he has a friend, his best friend Ryan. They've already talked about, when somebody shows up in particular vehicle at the house for Abigail, then they're going to head to the swamp, So he says it a lot less articulately. I think most dads have that same kind of feeling for their daughters. And, I have 2 boys, so I think the same kind of way.
Yeah, and they've been super supportive of this, right? Like it's kind of started with Amy D helping us with, running the books, and helps with the newsletter, and just really
she does a ton.
And just brainstorming and just being patient with, me and us with our ideas and all the kind of things. This, right, and everything that we're doing. And her parents have been super supportive with the social media stuff, because I'm not a social media guy. I'm learning it as we go, and he's liked everything and shared everything, and I don't know what that means, but he's doing it, right?
Right, and I think her,
Miss
I
Kim.
was going to say Koo, but Kim too has, she's constantly sharing our stuff.
That's right.
You hit the jackpot with both Amy and in-laws, it sounds like.
1,000%. And that's right. Their identities have now changed too. So Doc, which I call Dr. Brad, he's Pawpaw or Poppy to Amelia.
Poppy.
And then Miss Kim, she is Koo. Yeah, so which is cute. I think that's awesome, and I think the grandparent grandchild relationship is something that is to be revered, and I try my best to stay out of that and allow them, because I do believe it takes a village, and I think that our kids are very lucky to have 3 out of 4 grandparents, and so that's something that that time is very special for them, and I'm just very blessed again that they have that with them.
Do they and I'm sure, partner, because I know you talk about your dad a lot here. Your kids, is that something that you bring into their life, talking about your dad and what? How does that how is he with you every day and with your kids? Yeah,
and again, I'm kind of a softie when it comes to this topic, and I'm getting more comfortable being just, it is what it is, right? And Carissa does a good job pulling that out of people. You made me talk about this a little bit last episode, but yeah, I mean, we talk about. So I call my dad Pops, and we talk about Pops all the time. And I'll say something like, we went to the cabin over Mardi Gras holiday, and I said, you know who we used to go hiking with all the time, and they'll look Pops, right? Know, we'll go, whatever it is. Oh, he used to do this. You know who used to do this? Oh, Pops. So he's very active in their lives. He's not with us physically, but spiritually, we talk about him. We're very reverent to him, and a lot of respect for him, and just want to sort of keep his legacy going with a person that they're not going to get to know here, on earth, but they know him and they know about him. And, he's a very active part of my life. And, he and my mom both. I mean, I think the work ethic I have, kind of my idiosyncrasies, maybe some office Danny, right? I think I get from my parents and sort of the iron fist I was raised with. And, knowing that, I believe that my parents did the best that they could do for us. And all I can do is do the best that I can do for my kids and for my friends, for my family, this, that, and the other. So he's a very big part of our life. And, for my mom, I want her to not be lonely. I want her to have a mate. And it's just tough because that was her guy, right? I mean, nobody can replace him. So that's been tough. So we talk about him often, and he's definitely very, very much a part of our daily lives.
And I know we talk a lot here about being, a believer in Christians. And I guess if you truly believe, then he's with you all the time and you see him again at some point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I wish he could see this. I think anybody who's lost a family member, somebody close, I think it doesn't get better. I think you just get used to it. Right. And so I've struggled as of recent with, some of the times that I've had with my dad, and just kind of I wish he was here. I wish he could see this. I think he would think it was awesome. And I think he would be pumped about what we're doing and how we're doing it. And, seeing the kids and, just seeing Amy develop into the mom that she is, maybe calming my mom down a little bit sometimes. Pops, can you come to her at night and pray to her in her ear and tell her to relax a little bit? I love you, Mom. And for my sisters and stuff, I don't know. I don't know. I think for my sisters too. I mean, I walked each of them down the aisle, dude. It's just bittersweet. It's bittersweet. Couldn't be prouder of them. I wish that he was here to see them and see what they've grown into and their kids and how they're rearing their kids and all that. So it's I miss him, and I wish he was here, but I can't. There's nothing I could do about that. So it's managing and it's balancing between what you want, what you have, and what I've got are really good memories and a good guy that I know he's in my corner wherever he is. The irony of episode 5 is after my dad passed, there were 5 surviving family members. And it's kind of crazy. My younger sisters all played volleyball. Mm-hmm. So my dad was able to make it to, a lot of volleyball tournaments. He was a volleyball dad. Good dad showed up. And my mom didn't hurt that my mom loved volleyball, right?
Oh, does she?
Yeah, loved it. Oh, by the way.
I love that, Miss Patricia, just so you know.
By the way, I need to say this. My family has been extremely complimentary of learning about CGO as the big volleyballer. They're all fired up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I didn't know Carissa played volleyball. I mean, that's my mom, by the way. Dude, love that you play volleyball. They are so fired up.
I love volleyball. I was supposed to play last night. Got stuck. I'm not going to say stuck. I had the kiddos. We were all at their school function. It was wonderful. If you're listening later in life, children, I loved it.
And he's editing that out. Yikes.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, they're so excited. They're so excited that you're a volleyballer. They love that you play volleyball.
I think we should have, a
team PO.
A team PO.
I'm in. And they got to try out, though. My sister's got to try out. They got feet like concrete cinder blocks. They're not moving fast. I love y'all.
If it's for fun.
Yeah.
As long as we win, it's fine.
So after my dad passes, Ashley's still playing, right? And so he's not there, obviously. So we came up with a phrase, as typical Poolson fashion. We came up with a phrase, 5 strong. And so we kind of came up with like a little logo, and we had shirts, and we were 5 strong, and we were Cub Life because they all went to Mount Carmel. Nice. Cub Life, yeah. So we were 5 strong. So when the timing of this happened, where I was going to be in the hot seat, I thought it was worth mentioning 5 strong, and the coincidence that it's episode 5. Pretty wild, huh?
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy, right? Crazy. So yeah, 5 strong. Okay.
I like that.
All right. Well, that does it for episode 5 of Stay on Track podcast. For everyone listening in, thank you very much. Tell us something good. Mm-hmm. Please tune in for our next episode when it airs. Please like us and follow us on Facebook to learn more about what we do and who we help. For Carissa, I'm Danny, and thank you for staying on track with Poolson Oden Law Firm.
Thank you.